start recording now.
I've already have.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, so after a minute to speak.
Okay. Communism, quite simply, is the redistribution of wealth to the common people. Now, I'm going to be talking about true communism, which is not the communism that Stalin used when he was governing the Russia. However, I will address that as well. In true communism, no singular person takes power, and they do not have the entire say in, how the governing of the nation. However, I'm going to refer to Soviet Russia when Stalin took power in his 5-year plan, which was so effective in this communist society that it brought Russia from being, stumbling over itself, to being one of the leading economic powers in the early 20th century. Now, and my opponent will likely bring up that there was a detriment to the populace. However, in a true communist state, Stalin would never have been able to get his power, to consolidate his power like he did. Therefore, in a true communist state, the best solution is a true communist state in which the people have the most power.
Yeah, you've mentioned things.
I know.
Oh! You're getting cocky today. All right. Your time is about to. I'm gonna start.
Whenever you're ready, go.
It's knuckle crack. All right, you're ready. Go.
You should already know that.
I'd like to start talking to you today, and to talk to you directly about what my opponent just said at the end. He said, Stalinist communism is better than capitalism. Now, if we're going to talk about net benefits for humanity, net benefits for society, and we're going to set that as the standard for this debate, then how is that in any way beneficial? Stalin was a mass murderer. My opponent just said he likes mass murder. At what point do you like mass murder? I know I certainly don't. Now, when it comes to capitalism, my opponent has a nice shirt. That nice shirt comes from capitalism. That's not a communist rag. He's not a Bolshevik. And really, Stalin, in all of his paranoia, didn't allow Bolsheviks to live. Millions of Bolsheviks died just because of his whim. That's true communism, and that's what I'm here to ultimately destroy in theory.
3-minute crossfire.
Okay, I'd like to start off by addressing the fact that he said I am what?
Questions.
Okay.
Would you like the first question?
I would love the first one.
Face us.
I would love to.
Face the camera.
First question. You may have the second question.
You said that I was talking about Stalinist communism, correct?
Correct.
Did I not, at the beginning of my debate, say that in turn I was going to be addressing true communism, and that only in Stalinist communism, which was flawed, clearly, didn't I address that at the beginning of my own debate?
You may want to address the audience.
Face forward, yeah.
Didn't I?
Well, would you like me to respond? You did address that, but you also used Stalin as one of your main points. If you're going to use Stalin as one of your main points, then why? If you're not going to support it, then what's the point? I don't just say puppies and expect them to be one of my main points. That's not useful.
I was referring to Stalin as an example
leader.
of communism, an example of successful communism. I did say in terms of the progression of the nation. I did say also at the beginning of my
So
speech.
killing people is progressive.
No. And in terms of the progression of the society, of the
Killing
country,
people
of
is
the nation.
progressive to society.
No, you don't understand. Clearly, at the beginning of
I
my
don't
speech.
understand killing people.
At the very beginning of my speech, I clearly stated that Stalin did not, he consolidated his power and that it was not true communism. And that
So
true
let's
communism,
talk about true communism.
Okay.
And let's
True communism
drop that
is
out.
let me define communism here. Communism is quite simply the redistribution of wealth. Now,
You're
the
talking
average...
about, if I may, direct socialism. Communism is actually a leading party as well as the redistribution of wealth.
However, let me bring this up. The average CEO in America makes 495 times that of the average worker.
And the average citizen in a communist nation is most likely dead or in jail.
That is not in a true communist nation. No true communist nations have come out
Which
yet.
is exactly why they're not successful, and which is exactly why I've won this debate today.
Okay, you you clearly cannot judge something that has not happened yet. You cannot judge something based on
It hasn't
flawed
happened
version.
because it's flawed.
No, it hasn't happened because no country has had the balls to come up and
We
start
live
it.
in America. If you want to discuss communism, you can form your own communist nation. I'm open to that. But right now we're in America. We're speaking to Americans, and these are American ideals. That they
We're
have.
living in America whose economy is tanking, who's about to come to power, possibly, is Mitt Romney.
So your solution is a coup d'etat. So we all live in the glorious nation that is Soviet America.
No,
What?
I'm not referring to coup d'etat. I'm not talking about violence here. I'm talking about a simple redistribution of wealth. So that's these poor. Who here has walked down Van Nuys Boulevard and seen a starving, depressed, mentally deficient homeless person? That does not happen in true communist nations.
True communism does
That
not
happens
exist.
everywhere.
We are talking in a hypothetical
I'm talking
world
about
right now.
theory.
Hypothetical worlds don't exist. Theory is not relevant. We're talking
Theory
about
is
net benefits
very
to the masses.
relevant. Theory is very relevant.
If my opponent wants to win this debate, he's going to have to describe how this is beneficial to you and not some imaginative society. Yes,
way,
yes.
way over time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. All right, so moving on. Yeah, Ned, you have a minute to speak.
My opponent today has addressed a hypothetical society that doesn't exist, brought up Stalinist communism, and then said it's not important, and essentially gave us nothing to go upon. So I'm just going to stand here and tell you why communism is absolutely wrong in all senses of the word, and why capitalism allows you, in your current state, to sit where you are and be happy. Now, what I just went over, to readdress it, capitalism allows him to have a shirt that's not cloth. It allows him to not be in jail, as in many are in Cuba or communist Russia, which no longer exists. And it allows us to have the beautiful country that we have today, regardless of the recession my opponent brought up. If, let's say we had a coup, as I mentioned, there would be no success. There wouldn't be even what we have today as detrimental. There wouldn't be this recession. There would be no recession, in fact. In fact, there would be no economy. What we would have, distribution of wealth, flour sacks, a leading, just being tossed around, a leading party, someone to control us, and that, in sense, is wrong. In all senses.
All right, Matthew,
Let me just start out by saying, he said I have a nice shirt, my elbows are torn, and I'm not wearing socks. Now, everything that he said that was in terms of that was detrimental to communism was in reference to Stalinist communism. Now, I'm not talking about Stalinist communism. I'm talking about true communism. Now, the reason why true communism has not come to power is because of the Cold War and because of McCarthyism, which is this horrible fear of communism, when in reality it's a great thing. You can still go out and make money. You can still be happy. You can still have this life that you are leading. However, you can be more secure. You will have a home. If you lose your job, you're not going to be left on the street, and you're not going to be having to sit out like some of these poor homeless people begging for change from people that are making left turns on the freeway. Now, true communism, it doesn't mean that they're going to control your life. That's Stalinist communism, which I never advocated for. True communism is simply making your lives better by giving you stability. Thank you.